What is going on, guys? We are back with episode 21 of the Residual Earners podcast. I am Jordan.
And I am Presley.
And we are back today with more of a network marketing themed episode. We have a loyal subscriber, I think his name is Peter Realm, that's asked for us to go back into dive into networking a little bit. And obviously, as most of you know, we have one of the world's best to my right over here. So we're excited to bring back a little network marketing themed episode today.
You know, we started with 2, 3, 4 themed podcasts on networking. And then we shifted to the business realm, and then we shifted to some life lessons, and now we're coming back. But I love talking about networking, and obviously we've got some people wanting to hear some more, and we'll do that today. But before we start, talk about what's behind you and what's behind me. And
yeah, we got the old LED signs glowing bright behind us. I think it adds a little bit to the set, and I think it's a good look. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you like the new signage? The Residual Earners podcast is behind Presley. Our RE logo is behind me. I think they turned out fantastic. So let us know what you think in the comments if you guys like them as well.
I like them.
I like them.
I like them. Yeah, I like them. Tell them what else is going on in your life. Things change as of Friday.
Definitely, we're getting ready to make the move to Calgary on Friday. So the house is packed up, the girls are already gone, and now it's just waiting to fly up there with the kiddos.
Yep, I've got Jordan, Grayson, Willa, and Tatum here with us, and we're loving every second of it. But they will be heading north here on Friday. So
I don't know about loving every second because it's been a little bit of a challenge as well.
When you got 6, 4, and 2-year-olds, there's a couple of challenges, but I love every second of it.
Overall, it's good.
Overall, it's great. It is great. Anything else going on in your world? Hockey. Talk about hockey real quick. We had a tournament.
Yeah, Grayson and I went to Chicago. Kind of his first full ice travel tournament, and they ended up winning, which was just awesome. And the kid, he thinks he won the Stanley Cup, so he's pumped, and just a really fun time. Fun to watch him, fun to see him experience all that stuff. Just good times had by all.
Jeannie was having eye surgery, so I could not go. I wanted to be there, but I was watching on Live Barn. That's an app you can pull up, and they've got in most of the rinks cameras, and you can watch. So I watched all 4 games from the drop of the puck to the final buzzer.
Yeah, and he played well.
He did. It was fun watching.
So, well, get us going, man. What do you got? What's kind of the topic we're diving into today? Let's get into kind of the nuts and bolts of network marketing here.
Guys, I'm gonna go through kind of an overall, kind of a overarching what I think we need to be doing, and then I'll actually get into the granular at the end. And if you're a networker that you say, well, I've been around a while, well, so have I. I've been doing this over 30 years. But we all basically do the same thing. Now, as you move up the leadership ladder in your company, move up those ranks, you make more money, but we all do the same thing, whether you're a new rep, new business partner, or whether you're a seasoned business partner. We're all doing basically the same thing. Now, obviously, as you get a bigger team, leadership comes in, and, I mean, we got to do a few other things, but it's pretty much the same, Jordan, whether you're new or whether you're a seasoned veteran. Now, the one thing that I think is the overall arching theme of what we all need to keep in mind when we're starting a network marketing business or we're in one is that we don't sell products and services, really. We sell hope and opportunity. And I think that's why we've got to keep that focus, because people are looking for a better way. They're looking for a better life. They're looking for a change. They're tired of having more month than money. They're tired of just fighting and grinding. And, the thing about network marketing is that for usually just a few $100s, you can start a business that has the potential to make you life-changing kind of money. And in other words, the average person can start this business and have some serious success. Again, I can't guarantee anybody's success in network marketing, but I can tell you this: if you've got that work ethic and if you'll do some of the stuff I'm talking about, you've got a real good chance to change your life. But that's kind of the overall arching theme. I think we all need to keep in mind that we're selling hope and opportunity. And I'll throw one other thing in there. I started off with a company that was doing long distance. Now, for the younger folks, they won't even know what long distance is. But you used to, if you called grandma and she lived out of state, you made a long distance call. And my gosh, it used to be 50, 60 cents a minute to make a long distance call. And then it dropped to 25 cents, then to 10 cents, then to 5 cents. Then it got to be $9.95 a month, and you could make all the long distance calls on your home phone now, mind you. People don't even have home phones anymore. But that was it. But my point here is that I wasn't in love with long distance. I liked being able to save people money. I felt good about what I was doing, but it wasn't like that long distance was my passion. My passion was changing your life and Sarah Beth's life and Jeannie's life and changing my family's life. That was my passion, not the actual service or the actual product, whatever you're doing. Now, we certainly should like what we do. We should certainly feel good about what we do, whatever service or product it is. But just understand that we're selling hope and opportunity, Jordan.
Definitely. And we've gone over it in the past. There aren't many businesses you can start for, $200, $300, $400 upfront cost, and besides a website for $20 a month or whatever it may be, the overhead to get this business going is some of the lowest overhead I can imagine that gives you the opportunity to really make life-changing money.
Yeah, give them just a flavor of, you're in the auto hauling business now, or I guess we are. Give them just a flavor of buying one truck.
One truck is $250,000 to $300,000 for a 4-year-old truck. And we're buying 2020s or all the trucks we've been buying, and you're spending $250 to $300 per truck. And then you put insurance on that, you put a driver in that, you put fuel. It's ridiculous, the overhead that goes into these businesses, and obviously you can make money doing it, but you're putting in that initial investment. You got to have a truck.
Yeah, and my point there is to keep things in perspective. Usually, you like Jordan said, you start this business for just a few $100s, and your overhead is usually next to nothing compared to a traditional business. And I think that's the thing that we all have to understand.
Because, you've also said this before. I mean, out of all the businesses that we've done, some have gone great, some obviously haven't, but it's you made the most money, doing this business with the smallest startup cost.
Have and currently do make the most money.
Because even with the real estate back in the day, I mean, I know you did well at that, but you're still putting in, 6 figures to get a property to then hopefully sell and make money. It's a lot of risk out there, and you can lose big quickly.
No, and if you're buying commercial property, which we did and do, it's 7 figures.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot more risk when you're starting a networking business. But here's a point that I'll make, and then let's move on. But you can't treat this business like it's a $300, $400, $500 business. You got to treat this business like it's a trucking business, or like it's a McDonald's, or like it's whatever, like you've put in lots of money. Because if you treat it like a little business, guys, it'll be a little business. If you treat it like a big business, it'll be a big business. I think it was Tom Watson, the guy that started IBM. They said, "How'd you get IBM so big so quick?" And Tom said, "Because I treated it like a big business long before it was a big business." And I think no matter what business you go into, network marketing, trucking, whatever it is, you got to treat it like a big business from day one, because that's where it's going.
Definitely, because I think people do get into that kind of rut a little bit where it is, oh, well, it only costs, well, I may lose $300, it's no big deal. Instead of saying, no, I put my life savings on the line, I sold my house and put everything I had into this business, and it's going to work. People don't have that mentality, which holds them back.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's in the theme you'll figure out is we're talking in this podcast is it's so much about mindset. I mean, mindset's the determining factor. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that ultimately determines your altitude, and that is so true.
We'll save that line because our episode 22's on what it takes to be successful, and mindset is definitely there. So
you want me to use that again?
Yeah,
next
remember
week,
that.
huh?
Make a note and write that down because we're going to need that one again.
I'm in. Well, I guess I can go. I'll give you. That was that. We're selling hope and opportunities, kind of the overriding thing. But here's three other things that kind of fit under that. One, we got to get back in the dream business. I think it's so important for us to have dreams and goals. And I've said this many times, but for years I have kept my dreams and goals written down on my memo on my iPhone. And people say, why do you do that? Well, number one, you can put it on a piece of paper and stick it to the bathroom mirror, or you can stick it on the refrigerator where you're seeing it all the time. But what I'm going to tell you is that I keep it on my phone because, what do we have with us all the time? Our phone. Well, in the mornings, I try to read my goals and my dreams. I want to keep them fresh on my mind. At night, I try to read my goals and my dreams to keep them fresh on my mind. If I'm having a bad day, maybe in the middle of the day, I've had something happen that, kind of got me down a little bit. I'll read my dreams and goals in the middle of the day to kind of get me back focused again. So I think we've all got to get back in the dream business, and I challenge everybody, write some dreams and goals down before you go to bed tonight. I don't really have time to go into that. You can go back to a previous episode, previous podcast, because we did talk about goal setting, so look those up. But, I'll just suffice it to say is that if you don't have some goals and dreams written down, then, you're just floating around, guys. The wind's just blowing you around. Zig Ziglar said, be a meaningful specific, not a wandering generality. And I think having our dreams and goals written down where we know what we're trying to accomplish, when we're trying to accomplish it, is huge. I know you're big on goal setting, Jordo. Talk about it.
Definitely. It's what you just said is whenever I see it and it's in front of me daily, it resets me and gets me back focused again. And when I see them when I first wake up and, jump into that morning routine, it makes you make good decisions throughout the day. And having those goals and having them in front of you and having that vision board, it just makes you focus in on what you need to do for the day to get it complete.
Amen. Okay, we got to get back in the dream business. Number two, and if anybody's listened to me speak, whether it be live or on our podcasts or anywhere, you know that I'm big on growing as a person. I think personal growth is what got me where I am. And again, we've done a whole lot more on some previous podcasts. You can look those up, but I'll give you just a flavor, and that is if you want more, you got to become more. That was something that was told to me, and I took it to heart. I was told that you don't chase success, you attract success by the person you become. That really sunk in with me, and I have been trying for the last, decades now. It's hard to say that. For the last few decades, I have been a lifelong learner. I'm trying to learn, and I don't have time to go into details, but we all need to be reading. If you just read 10 pages a day, guys, that's 3,650 pages you'd read in a year. You've read, 15 good books. I promise you won't be the same. Number two, instead of watching so much TV, guys, watch some personal growth giants on YouTube, Zig Ziglar, Stephen Covey, Les Brown, Joyce Myers. I mean, we can go into all that, but, put some personal growth giants training you by watching them on YouTube. And then, the last thing that I think is probably the biggest deal is who do you run with? Run with winners. We all know winners. We all know losers. Guys, get with people that are going somewhere, and it's like it just sucks you along with them. The problem is if you're running with losers, it sucks you down that road too, and that's not a good road to get sucked down.
No. And a prime example in my life as of late of that is, we started this podcast 4 months ago, and we know nothing. We know nothing about podcasts. We know nothing about YouTube. We know nothing about how to get these cameras turned on and synced up. But, what did I do? There's a very successful, I forget the guy's name. I wish I had the book in front of me, but he owns a company called Think Media that's huge on YouTube. And what they do, they're a big podcast and they're big just gear review and set you up with the right stuff. So obviously I found them, I started watching stuff and learning online, and then I bought the guy's book and finished the book, which is YouTube. I think it's called YouTube Secrets. And, just learn. We're stepping into a new area. We have to learn. Let's get books. Let's get the right stuff and really dive into it and figure out what we need to be doing to get, achieve success faster.
Yeah, and if you want to see just how it works, go back and look at episode 1.
Yeah.
When Jordan and I look like Martians. We're kind of green looking because we didn't have the right lighting. We were doing it in his office at his house.
And I think we need to, it won't be a podcast, but definitely do kind of a film of the studio and show what we've become. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but show what we've created here to make all this happen. But it all stems from the research done, knowing exactly the equipment needed, knowing exactly how to set it up, getting with the right people. Rebecca came over and did all the lights for us, making sure that all that's perfect. And you got to learn, and I enjoy that, and especially when it comes to this kind of setting, I've really enjoyed doing it. But it's definitely taken a lot of work in the background, and the same with the post, the editing behind the scenes. It's learning from these people and learning their the words slipping from my head right now, but learning how they do stuff and picking up on stuff and learning how to make my workflow way faster on the back end, because if you're not learning there, it takes a long time to get through this stuff, but there's some stuff you can do that really speeds it up dramatically.
Now, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Jordan is the one that masterminds and heads all this up. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I will say this. I have started looking at videos on how to use CapCut and things like that. An old dog can learn some new tricks. And as a matter of fact, before he leaves Friday, I want him to, I've been watching videos, but I want him to work with me on the CapCut, so I'll get where I can do it a little bit better. But, and we bring that stuff up. I mean, number one, to tell you a little bit about our podcast, but also in networking, guys, you're not going to be great when you start, but you got to start to be great. I mean, that's just the way this thing works. You got to get in the game. You got to start learning. Jordan's talking about reading books and watching videos, and I'm watching, learning videos. And I mean, you got to learn the game. And that's why we do this, is to learn the game.
Yeah, and especially network marketing. I got buddies in the insurance business. If you think of real estate, you have to get the snowball going. You can show up to the office day one, and the phone is not going to ring. If you're not, finding business and trying to drum it up, nothing's going to happen. And that's the way it is in networking. You have to get that snowball going, and then it gets to the point like you, where like the phone won't stop ringing. But day one,
my phone wasn't ringing.
Nobody's calling.
No. Here's the thing that will make you feel better, I think, and then we got to get into more details. But it will take a life of its own. It's kind of like you pushing that snowball up the hill, and it's like hard. And my gosh, am I ever going to get up there to that crest where I can get it to the top? And then all of a sudden, your team starts growing. You get a few workers, a few leaders. It starts making its own life, kind of, if you will. And you get that snowball to the top. And when it starts rolling down, you couldn't stop it if you wanted to.
No.
But you got to do all that pushing on this side of the mountain to get it to the top, and then it'll start rolling. Now, we're going to dream, we're going to grow, and then we got to get into the work part. And I'll give you 3 things real quick on work. Dream, grow, work. That is just something that has been a staple of mine forever. But the work part is pretty simple if you're in networking. Be your own best customer. I don't think you can get out there and do anything with any passion, with any conviction, with anything if you're not at least using the services or using the products. You got to be doing something to learn what's going on. I mean, if I ask somebody to try my service and they go, well, how does it work? And I go, oh, I don't know. I don't have it, but I want you to get it. Duh. I mean, it's hard to get much excitement when you can't even talk about it. With the company I'm with, I know all the services. I use all the services. I can talk and give testimonials about all the services. I think that's got to be you. If you've got products, then you need to be taking the products. I think that is huge. I think it is a big deal. Jordan's fixing to show you something.
No, I feel like I'm Randy Hedge. I've seen this on TikTok a few times. But this is my impact card. And I got this From my previous company, we had Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I ended up saving, golly, about $2,000 a month with Impact. But I used it for the first time the other day, and it worked. So that makes me excited. But this is one of the products that that our company offers, health sharing, and it was nice to go in, and we had to get a prescription and just showed them the card, and it was, just normal. And I went from $2,500 a month to $547 or something like that, and it's the same coverage.
Yeah, or better.
Or better. But the point is, if you use the products that your company has, and you got to believe in what you have there, and if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and I'll throw this out there. If you want to hear more about Impact, I'm a customer as well. Love it. I went from $1,500 to $426. I mean, it's crazy for better coverage because Impact is a nonprofit. They can do it so much cheaper. But we're not here to sell that. But anyway, I'll tell you about it. But we've got to be our own best customer. Number two, you got to plug into whatever your company's offering. If they're doing Zooms, obviously none of us can be on every Zoom that happens, but we need to jump on every Zoom that we can, because think about it, most time in the evening is when the Zooms are, and most of the time we could squeeze it in if we really wanted to. If you don't really want to, then you're telling me that you're not really totally committed. You got to get plugged in. When your company's having local events, you need to be at the local events anytime that you can. I understand that graduations or birthdays or anniversaries, stuff comes up. Again, nobody can be at everything, but you need to plug in. The one thing that I'll say that is non-negotiable here, and that is when your company has a big event, when they have one of their big national events or international events, you got to be there. I mean, I don't know of any top money earners in any company that doesn't make it to their national events or international events, the big events. So just, again, to me, that is non-negotiable. You get there and you say, well, Presley, I don't have the money. Well, I didn't have the money either, but I'll say this. If you get 4 or 5 of you folks that you know and you get in one car and everybody throws in $30-$40 for gas and you drive, you may have to drive 8-10 hours to get there, but you drive instead of flying. You take some sleeping bags and you get 4, 5, 6 of you in a hotel room with sleeping bags, and you may be on the floor and it may not be the most comfortable, but you're there. And then, used to when I did it, it was called a dollar menu. You could eat off a dollar menu at fast food places. Now it's the value menu because you can't find anything for $1 anymore. But anyway, we'd eat off the value menu or the dollar menu at fast food places. You can make it happen if you want to. I figured that out. We can make it happen. But you need to be your own best customer. You need to plug into everything that you can plug into. And then, the next one is you got to show the plan, show the plan. Show the plan, show the plan, show the plan.
It goes back to something I said earlier in this podcast, that if you put your last dollar into a business and your mentality is to make it work, you're going to make it work. And so many people make excuses because it's such a low barrier to enter. And if this was your only opportunity in life, you would find a way to get to the events and you would do exactly what you're talking about, but people don't do it. And I think it's just because it's not a lot of money to get into network marketing.
No, and if you had just purchased a McDonald's and the McDonald's convention is coming up in 2 months, would you be at the McDonald's convention? No. I don't think there's a question. No. Because you just put $2 million or whatever it is into that McDonald's. No. You got a lot of money riding on that. Let me tell you this. We've got the potential, again, no guarantees, but we got the potential to make more than a McDonald's owner. We've got to get to the big events. But, recapping, we need to be our own best customer. That's not optional. Get the service, get the product, whatever it is. Number 2, plug into everything you can plug into. And then my last one is you got to show the plan, show the plan, show the plan. And I'll get into some details here about that. And if you're taking notes, I think this is where you really want to start scribbling, because this is kind of the nuts and bolts of what it takes to be successful. And I get the question all the time, how have you made all that money? I have shown the plan and shown the plan and shown the plan and shown the plan, and I got tired of showing the plan, but I kept showing the plan and showing the plan and showing the plan. And I actually had a meeting with Jordo and Sarah Beth and Jeannie when I first started, and I said, listen, I'm going to be at everything I can be at, because I'm one of those dads that went to not just the games, but the practices and the rehearsals for Sarah Beth. But I told him I may miss something every once in a while, but in the long run, we're going to be able to be at a lot of stuff. Well, I missed a couple of things here and there. Not a lot, but I missed a couple of things. Obviously, I'd be calling in, checking, seeing how Sarah Beth was singing or how Jordan was hitting. But anyway, I did that. But then when Jordan got to go to Arizona State, we bought a house in Phoenix because of the time and effort I put in. And I think he played about 70 games, and I bet I didn't miss 5 of them. And we were traveling all over the country.
70 a year.
Or 70 a year, whatever it was, however many games. But anyway, we were there. But I paid the price up front where I could do that in the end. And, now I've switched. Instead of watching baseball, I'm into hockey now. So I try to get to all the hockey games.
Which we have it so much easier now with Live Barn. In most sports, because my buddy Sean, his sons play basketball and played baseball. And, a couple times we've been member partners in a golf tournament. We got the iPad in the middle of the golf cart, and Sean's watching, his sons play basketball or baseball. So we have it so much easier because you can see everything. Back in those days, you're either there or
no. I'm on the phone with Jeannie going, "Hey, what happened? Where are we? Oh, he's up to play. Okay, hey, turn the speaker on where I can hear." That's how you had to do it back then. But anyway, let's get into more serious stuff. Get you a piece of paper if you've got this, and I want you to draw 4 circles. You can draw 2 on top, 2 on bottom. But this is my inviting script. Me and a guy named Chris Lefebvre came up with this a long time ago. And you know Chris Lefebvre.
I know Chris Lefebvre very, very well.
I love Chris. I talked to him a while ago. I talked to him earlier, I guess back in May, a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, love the guy. Great guy. 4 circles. In one circle, put share/show. Like I'm going to share something with you. Share/show. In the next circle, put only/just. In another circle, and it doesn't matter what order you put these in, just put them in the circles. May or may not. May or may not. And then in the last circle, put 2 choices. 2 choices. You can use these circles in any way, but when I first got started, I actually kept that piece of paper right in front of me, and I would be looking at that piece of paper. I never wanted to read a script to somebody. I always wanted it to sound like it was off the cuff, like I was talking from the heart. I wanted people to understand that it was passion and understand it's going to be the posture that you take is going to make this work or not work. You got to be positive. You got to be upbeat. You got to act like it's the best thing since sliced bread. But the 4 circles work this way. I would go, and I'd be looking at my piece of paper, and I would go, "Hey, Jordan, I got something I want to share with you. It'll only take me about 20 minutes. You may or may not be interested. Does Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening work better for you?" You can go any direction you want to with the circles. There's no order you have to go in. I can start and go backwards. I can say, "Hey, Jordan, does Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening work better for you? I got something I want to share with you. You may or may not be interested, but I only need about 20 minutes. It doesn't matter what order you go in, but I think it does several things. 1, I got something I want to share with you. Number 2, you may or may not be interested. That takes the pressure off of them. If you're not interested, great. I mean, we want that to come through. Number 3, give them 2 choices. That is just the best thing ever. I mean, as far as setting appointments, if you ever done any setting appointment videos or gone to a seminar and listened to them talk about setting appointments, I always say give them 2 choices, because it's not yes or no. It's okay, Tuesday works better than Wednesday, whatever. And then to relieve them wondering how long it's going to take, I only need 20 minutes, or I just need 20 minutes. But I'll go through it one last time, then we'll move on. Hey, Jordan, it's Presley. Listen, buddy, I got something I want to share with you. It'll only take me about 20 minutes. You may or may not be interested. Does Tuesday or Wednesday work better for us to get together? And I mean, if you'll just use those 4 circles, and it makes it where it's not me just reading a script word for word. It gives me a guideline, but I'm not just reading a script. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's pretty powerful, and I hope people are taking notes on that, because obviously you're with one of the best in network marketing and Presley over here. So take notes on this stuff, because these are the kind of nuggets that can make you successful.
Well, setting appointments. If you get where you can invite people, you've got about 60% of the battle won already. Yeah. It's all about inviting. Now, I'll end this section with this. It's all about your posture. If you call up and you're asking people to come look at something, you better be excited about it. One of mine and Jordan's good buddies, Randy Hedge. You heard him mention Randy a while ago. And by the way, if you haven't, look up Randy on TikTok. You'll get a kick. You'll get a kick out of TikTok.
Randy was calling me during this.
We got to get him on here. That's one thing we got to do. But anyway, look up Randy Hedge on TikTok. But anyway, Randy says if you'll get fired up, people will come from miles around to watch you burn. You get the point there, guys. If I called somebody up and act like my dog just got run over and I'm down in the dumps and I'm blah, and that ain't the time. I mean, don't call anybody unless you're up. And sometimes you may act as if. You may not be feeling that great, but when you get on the phone, you got to be upbeat. I recommend that you stand up and you walk around, because it's a whole lot easier to kind of get the blood pumping and get your attitude right when you're up walking around, as opposed to sitting down. So make sure you're talking with posture. Hey, Jordan. Hey, man, I think I found something amazing. Listen, I only need about 20 minutes. You may or may not be interested. Does Tuesday or Wednesday work better for you? I mean, you got to get some excitement about you. They've got to feel like they're missing out if they don't at least look. That's the way you've got to come across when you're inviting folks. And you say, how do you get the conversation started? What I'll do a lot of times is I'll call up and I'll go, hey, Jordan, Presley, how's the fam? Everybody good? Oh, great. Hey, listen, this is really a business call, buddy. Got a quick question for you. Do you look at other ways to make money? You do. And then I go into you may or may not be interested, and I go into my 4 circles. But I'll call them up. Hey, how you doing? I'll talk for about 30 seconds, just kind of refreshing the relationship, especially if it's somebody I hadn't talked to for a while. But I'm not going to go long till I say, hey, listen, Jordan, this is really a business call. Got a quick question for you. And then, do you look at other ways to make money? If you're at a restaurant, guys, just, hey, do you look at other ways to make money? You do. And then there's your script. You're ready. Go into it. Okay. After we invite, what do we got to do? We got to show the plan. Showing the plan is the key. You can do everything else in this business, but if you're not getting people to look at your presentation, to look at what you've got to offer, you're not getting anywhere in the network marketing world. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to recommend that you do a home meeting if you can. Especially when you start, get some people in your area that you're friends with, family with, whatever. Invite some people over to your house, and you say, well, I'm not good at it. Well, get somebody from your upline to come and do the presentation, or get somebody to jump on a Zoom and stick your computer up or throw it up on a TV. Or, my gosh, most companies have videos you can play. I mean, there's ways to get the information in front of people. The way we did it in the old days is people would play a video, and then they'd call me if I couldn't get to them, say they were out of state. They'd just put me on a speakerphone, and me being the upline expert, we're all experts when we're the upline, you just get on and start talking about, the business, and you kind of close the meeting out for that new person. But it is so key. If you can't do a home meeting, get people on a Zoom, guys. Zooms have kind of taken over the world. Now, I do believe that if you can get belly to belly with somebody, that is by far the best. But like I'm here in Texas, I signed somebody up in Pennsylvania. I can't get up to Pennsylvania. Chances are to do their home meeting. Sometimes maybe, but not always. So you say, hey, listen, invite some people onto this Zoom. We're going to do a Zoom. We're going to launch your business. We got to start getting people in front of it. And then after a while, you get to where you can do it yourself. You can meet people at coffee shops. You can get somebody from your upline to meet you at a coffee shop, do a 2-on-1, a 1-on-1. Sometimes your company will have a meeting in a local area where you are. You invite people to that. Sometimes you can get people to the big meetings, the big events. I mean, the whole key, it doesn't really matter which one you pick, which one you feel comfortable with, but you got to get the information in front of people.
Definitely. And I think you can add a little color in the groups you have going right now that, the ones that are expanding the most are the ones that are you're meeting with in person and they're having in-person meetings on a weekly basis.
I'm a passionate kind of guy, but that passion can only come out so much when they're looking at a little bitty inch by inch square on a computer screen. Let's get real. The other thing is, this is a relationship business. When you see our team get together, we're family. No. We're hugging, we're high-fiving. I'm not talking to a group looking out there going, oh, look at all these business partners. I'm up in front of the group talking, thinking, look at all these friends, look at all my family, because that's the way we look at it. And that's such a big deal to draw people in, is the relationships that you're building. It's not in my notes, but I would say this: if you're doing a meeting and it's a hotel meeting, maybe afterwards, head out to a Mexican restaurant and sit there and visit with people. The meeting after the meeting, if you can, get there a little early, have a cup of coffee with somebody. The meeting before the meeting. It's the relationship as much as anything, guys, that's going to make your success happen. We've got to develop those relationships. Now, can you do it on a Zoom? Yeah, because sometimes you don't have an option, but pick up the phone and call them, and sometimes just make a phone call where you're not even talking about the business. Hey, man, how's your kid? How's hockey going? Grayson doing good in hockey? Really? Hey, that's awesome. Your wife doing good? Hey, awesome. Well, listen, I just was thinking about you, wanted to say howdy. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes just make a call like that. Develop that relationship, and people will stick and stay if they feel part of something. People, from the time we're a little kid, we want to be picked on the team.
Definitely.
So I think that is.
And one more thing, I think a way to look at this, and this is backtracking just a touch, but always try to get in person with somebody before reverting to a Zoom.
Amen. I agree with that 100%.
Because in this day and age, everybody just wants to go to, I can just do it from my house, do it on Zoom. It's way easier, but always try to get with somebody in person first. And then if that's not an option, obviously if somebody's in another state, whatever, you're not trying to get with them in person to show them a plan. But anytime you can, let that be the first choice.
And as far as Zooms go, I'll throw this out. My gosh, we could sit here for 3 hours talking about this, and we need to start winding up here in a little bit. But when you're on a Zoom with somebody, ask them to turn on their camera. It is just, to me, it's kind of rude when somebody won't turn on their camera. And I understand occasionally there's a situation where they just can't, but really push people to turn on that camera. Just some points to wind up with as far as showing the plan. Understand we're sorting. That's all we're doing. We're sorting. We're looking for the ones that are looking. So don't let it get you down if somebody says no, because that doesn't always mean no. That just means not now. So just understand, we're in the sorting business. I mean, don't take it personal, because sometimes just the timing isn't right. Randy Hedge, the guy we were talking about, I showed Randy the presentation, and he's, no, I can't do it now. Too much going on. This is my best buddy. I mean, I'm thinking, if I can't get my best buddy in, can I really do this? Well, things changed, and 4 months later, Randy got in, and I think he would thank the Lord he did, because he's made a whole bunch of money, and I'm thankful he did, because he's made me a whole bunch of money. So, I mean, you just never know. Things change in people's lives. I always tell folks that I'm never taking somebody off my list unless they die or when they sign up. That's it. That's when I'm going to take them off. Now, I'm not calling them every day. I may not call them for a couple of months, but I'll call them and go, hey, just checking in, just letting you know, hey, my business is rocking, man. If you ever want to take a look again, I'm happy to help you. I don't wear them out with it, but I'll bring it up about every couple of months just to see what's going on in their lives, because life circumstances change. All right. Here's my thing. I got to throw this out there. I've watched some people. I'll be listening from the table over, and they'll be showing a presentation, and they'll do a great, concise, quick presentation, and I'm thinking, wow, that was good. And then they get to the end, and they never ask for the sale. They never say, hey, let's get you signed up, or what name do you want on those checks? Or you got to ask the question, because the answer is always no if you don't ask. So always get in the habit of saying, I just like to say, hey, well, let's get you going. Let's get you making money. What name do you want on those checks? I mean, I just always say something positive because I'm anticipating them signing up. That's my belief, and I'm going to approach it that way. Now, if they say no, I got it. That's fine. Again, I'm sorting. But here's. I think this is so key. We got to follow up, guys. And a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I need to talk to my spouse." You know what I say? Great. That's a good idea. You talk to your spouse. I'll call you tomorrow and you let me know what y'all decide. I need to pray about this. I'm a praying man too. That is a great idea. You pray about it. I'll call you tomorrow and you let me know what you've decided. I need to do some due diligence. Great. I think that's a great idea. Listen, you do your due diligence. I'll call you tomorrow and you let me know what you've decided. You've always got to set that next appointment, guys. I think that is so key, and you got to keep following up. You can listen to anybody talking about sales, and they're going to all tell you that very few people sign up on the first meeting. A few, that does happen, but usually it's the next follow-up or the next follow-up, or you saying, hey, you met them at a coffee shop. You go, hey, tomorrow night we're doing a Zoom. Jump on that, why don't you? And you can get a better feel for this. They don't sign up there, and you go, hey, Thursday night we're doing just a short training for new business partners. Why don't you jump on that? You just try to keep them going to the next appointment because they're going to eventually get in, I believe, most people. But you got to follow up.
That's it. Well, can I ask you my questions now?
You can ask me anything you want to ask me.
The first question I have is, what led to your success? What separated you early on in the early days when you got into network marketing? What separated you from everybody else?
You know, I think all my life I've had a burning desire in my butt to be successful because for those that know, and I think we've gone, well, no, I know we've gone over this on a previous podcast, but I grew up in the ghettos, literally, never had any money, had the best mom in the world, but she worked in sewing factories and school cafeterias. So we never had anything. I didn't want to keep living that way for whatever reason, and I had a cousin named Manny that had shown me that our family could be successful. And then, I had that burning desire in my butt to do something. And then when I got in, it was like I burned the boats. I said, come heck or high water, I'm going to make this work. And I had the attitude that my back was against the wall, and it was to a certain extent, that there's no options. And my gosh, somebody could call me at 2 a.m. and want to see a presentation, and baby, I was in the car driving. And I did a lot of presentations I didn't want to do. I was tired. I had to get up and go to work the next day, but I went out and did the presentations. It takes a commitment. Now, let me say this. If you're on here and you're saying, hey, all I'm wanting to do is make $500 a month, you can kind of play with it and do that. We got people on here probably thinking, hey, I just want to make $2 or $3 grand. You can play with it a little harder and do that. If you're really wanting to make life-changing kind of money, you got to have that burn the boats attitude, Jordan. I mean, it's got to be same, no different than your car hauling business. Yeah. You got to get in. You got to commit. You got to. Failure's not an option. I mean, that's how you got to go into it, because I don't care if it's the printed circuit board business, the car hauling business, or network marketing. You're going to have good days and bad days, and if you're not all in, then you'll start waving that white flag and quit. Definitely. And this, you may have answered this a little bit, but what is the overall theme for success? I think the overall theme is just you got to be committed. I think commitment, and if you remember that Coach Mayo talked about that when he was talking about basketball, it's all about making a commitment. It's all about jumping in the deep end. Believe it or not, guys, people pick up from you if you're just kind of sticking your toe in the water and seeing how this works. Whereas they also pick up that you're fully dressed, but you jumped in the deep end. I mean, you are in like Flynn, baby. They can just feel that. That's why I keep saying it's not near as much what you say as it is the posture you say it with. Whether you're trying to get a customer or whether you're trying to get a business partner, it's all about you got to have that fire inside. Again, Randy Hedge says it better than anybody. If you'll get fired up, People will come from miles around to watch you burn.
Okay. What do people need to be doing to achieve this?
You know, we've kind of gone over this, but I'm going to tell you, we've got a fortune right here. We all have lots of contacts in our phone. Write every one of them down. Put the phone number beside them on a piece of paper. I'm telling you right now, if you start trying to edit your list, if you start trying to decide for people who's going to want to do it and who's not, you are editing your success. I'm telling you right now, because from experience, when I first got in, Jordo, I was going to everybody that I knew that was broke. They didn't have a job. They sat on the couch. Because I'm thinking, hey, they need this. My gosh, they need this bad. I'm not saying we don't go talk to broke Uncle Harry. We do. But I'm also saying this, that your doctor, your dentist, your CPA, your banker, your attorney, all those folks should be on that list too. And those are the ones you need to talk to first. I started talking to the broke Uncle Harrys in my life. My business started off pretty slow. When I finally started talking to the successful people that, maybe they hadn't made a gazillion dollars, but they just had that success mindset. We know that about people. When I started talking to them, that's when my business took off. The other thing is, you're looking for busy people, and you say, well, if they're already busy, do they have time to fit it in? Guys, if you want to get something done, find a busy person. That's been a saying forever, and that is the gospel truth. They're around people. They're always going. They're always doing, and they will figure out a way. If they see the value, they'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Definitely. All righty. Give me the nitty gritty here. What do people need to be doing to really be successful in this business?
Setting appointments and showing the plan. If you're taking it down to just the bare basics, can we read good books? Oh, and we should. Can we run with winners? Oh, yes, and we should. Can we watch some personal growth giants on YouTube? Oh, yes, and we should. Can we learn from successful networkers? Yes, and we should. You get the point. We need to be doing all that. Sure do. But I'll say this, if you're leaving out setting appointments and showing the plan, you're fooling yourself. Because this business the success is predicated on action. And the action that produces, the only revenue generating activities we do is getting customers and getting business partners. If you're not getting customers and business partners, you're not doing this business. You're fooling yourself. And if all you're wanting to do is join a club where you can hang out with some positive-minded people, hey, if that's what you're wanting to do, great. That's great. Show up to the meetings. You'll be around positive people and all that. If you're doing this to make money, to change your life, to change your family's life, you got to understand, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to set appointments. You got to show the plan. And obviously, we've gone over all that today.
Definitely. In my last question, what is your favorite part of this business?
People. In this business, you're going to make a lot of friends. You're going to grow as a person. You're going to help people. Those three things are amazing to me. I have more friends because of networking than any other thing in my life. Obviously, my family's still closer to me. Obviously, I've got some lifelong buddies that are still closer to me. But I've got amazing friends from this business, because what you find out is if somebody doesn't have a pretty good attitude, if they're not positive, they're not going to stick around long. So you end up being around positive people. And if you remember, one of my keys was you got to be around winners. Well, you're going to find out if you'll get in network marketing, put your heart into it, that you're going to be running with a bunch of winners. And that uplifts me. I love going to the meetings. I love going to the big events. I love it because the energy is just so amazing. It's all positive. And again, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that'll ultimately determine your altitude. And so much of that comes from who you run with. But my favorite part is all my friends, all my family that are part of the business.
Well, that is awesome. Well, that was kind of an action-packed episode.
I think we did pretty good. I hope you guys took a few notes. I hope you learn something. This is a simple business. Just understand, keep it simple. We get a few customers and we get a few business partners. And if you'll just do those steps that we went over today, don't complicate it, guys. When you're showing presentations, keep it to the bare minimum, because you got to understand, people that are seeing that for the first time, if you're going into all the details, they're not going to remember it anyway. So keep everything simple, but the main thing is take action. This success in this business is not about ability, it's about action. You got to get your butt off the couch. You got to get to making the phone calls, setting the appointments, and showing the plan. And I'll say this, if you just have reasonable intelligence, because that's all I've got, but if you got reasonable intelligence, you can be a massive success in this profession.
Definitely. Well, thank you for your time. Obviously, again, guys, we just want to add value this episode. You know, one of our followers named Peter, you know, wanted an episode on network marketing. We read the comments. So please, guys, put down in the comments if there's a topic that you want to be talked about. We're happy to do it. We enjoy getting on here and trying to add to your lives. And, you know, this was a good episode.
It was. And as I've said many times, I love doing this with my son.
Definitely, man.
This is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Love you, buddy.
Love you.
God bless you guys.
Awesome. Thank you all.